Hey, what's up everybody, this is Superwork501 and today I want to do an overview of the most recent Diablo 4 developer livestream. This livestream was held on February 28th and they go over a decent bit of new information, including new information on the upcoming open beta, which does include some permanent cosmetic rewards you can get from playing that beta. They go over new information on specifically armor and armor rating, some new information on Strongholds, and then we also get some additional interesting information from their Q&A at the end of the stream. Now to start off, they went over some additional information for the upcoming open beta. Now they did update their article on the official Diablo 4 website that has all this new information added into it as well. So if you want to see all the nitty gritty, all the specific details, you can go check out that article as well. And I did make a video going over all of the beta information we had previously, so you can check out that video as well if you want. But at TLDR, there's going to be two open beta weekends. The first open beta weekend is going to be from March 17th to March 20th, and that's only going to be if you've pre-ordered the game. But then on the next weekend of March 24th to March 27th, that is an open beta for absolutely everybody. It's completely free. You don't have to pay any money for it. And the progress from the first beta weekend does carry over to the second beta weekend, but obviously that progress will not carry over onto the launch. And some new information is that on the first beta weekend, you'll be able to choose between the Barbarian, Rogue, or Sorcerer, but then on the second beta weekend, which is the open beta for everybody, you can play any of the 5 classes in the game that you want. You're able to go up to level 25, and you're able to play through the first act of the game and play through any content in the first region of the game, which is Fractured Peaks. So there's going to be quite a lot of content to try to get through in 6 days or 3 days if you're not pre-ordering the game. Some additional new information is that there are going to be one of the world bosses in the game that is going to be at level 25, so you'd want to be around there to fight it. And this is going to be at set different times, so it sounds like it's probably going to be on a few hour respawn timer. So no matter what time of the day or what region you're playing in, you should be able to see the world boss if you get to an appropriate level. And they also did release the minimum and recommended specs specifically for the open beta for PC, and these specs are actually incredibly low in terms of the actual hardware you need. So it seems like this game is going to be pretty well optimized if these recommended specs are actually true. Now the last bit of information we got for the open beta is that there are some permanent rewards you're going to get for playing in the open beta, and there's 3 different things. So first off, you're going to get the initial casualty title, which is going to be earned just by reaching Kovashad with 1 character, which is the first kind of main city in Act 1, and they said it won't be too long after starting the game that you get there, so that's a title. Then the second title you get is Early Voyager, and this is earned by getting any character to level 20, and you just need to get 1 character to 20. But then finally, and the thing that pretty much everybody is going to want, and there's a lot of people that are going to be playing specifically to get this, is you will get a Beta Wolf Pack cosmetic item by also reaching level 20. So you get the 2 last rewards for reaching level 20, and all of these rewards are rewards you actually get when the game is fully released. And that cosmetic item we talked about is essentially like a little bed or satchel on your back that has an animated wolf cub inside of it. Looks really good, obviously, and it's a cute little wolf that pretty much everybody's gonna want. Now, a big part of this live stream was taken up by explaining how armor is gonna work in Diablo 4. And originally, I thought they were gonna be going over actual armor pieces and affixes and all that type of stuff, but this is going over literal armor and armor stats. So they went over the basics of armor, which is one of the kind of basic stats you're going to get on every one of your armor pieces. They went over what this is going to do, which is give you damage reduction versus physical attacks. They even went over how this is specifically going to scale depending on what level you are. They went over the maximum amount of damage reduction you can get from armor depending on your level. They went over specifics of how much damage reduction percentage you're actually going to get per how much armor you're going to get, and depending on what level you are also determines what percentage of damage reduction you're getting. They showed a bunch of graphs going over all of this, and they went into a lot of detail on the specific stat and how it's going to play out in the entirety of the game, into endgame difficulties, and pretty much everything you would ever need to know about the armor stat. And also keep an eye out, because I want to do a video going over this specific information because there's quite a lot of it, and I still don't understand all of it myself. I'm gonna have to go rewatch that part of the live stream a few times to even get a grasp on all the information they released. But I think the general overview of armor is that they are using it as a pretty big way of how to balance enemies and damage resistance and how much damage players are actually going to be taking. And that's why later into the game, once you get higher levels, you need more armor to get the same amount of damage resistance. But then you can also have higher caps of damage resistance. And then there's also going to be other factors that play into this. So again, keep an eye out for my video if you want to learn more specifics about what they went over in terms of the armor stat. And after that, they went over some new information on Strongholds. Now, we pretty much knew most of this, and Strongholds are essentially just going to be areas of the map that are all completely unique, and it's essentially an area you enter that you have to clear out enemies and do some other objectives, and once you complete the Stronghold, that Stronghold will turn into a settlement with NPCs, vendors, and it will also be a shared area. So once it turns into that settlement, you'll also be able to see other players in that area as well. Pretty much the only new information we got on that is that they are specifically using these strongholds also as a way to kind of teach you about the different enemy factions that are going to be in the game. The one they specifically showed off is the Drowned, and you kind of get to see all the different Drowned enemy types and their abilities and how they're going to work together, but not a ton of new information on strongholds past that. Now, we did get some pretty interesting information at the Q&A at the end of the stream, and one of the main ones I wanted to detail is that the developers got asked a question about runes and runewords. Now, runes and runewords were things that were in the previous Diablo games before Diablo 3, and specifically with Diablo 2, they're a very big part of gearing, itemization, and progression, but they weren't really carried over that way into Diablo 3, and when Diablo 4 was first revealed, they actually had a section showing off runes and runewords and how they were going to work, but we really didn't get any information past that initial reveal. And then later down the road, I think sometime last year, we learned that runes or runewords would not be in the game on launch, and they answered this question by essentially saying that they want more time on runes and runewords, and they want to bring it back in a correct way because it is something that was so beloved and so heavily used in previous games that they want to do it correctly. And they specifically said that that is something that they will be revisiting later down the road, mentioning that with the game being a live service game, having new seasons and expansions constantly being released, that they can add in systems like this over time and make sure they put the correct amount of time to make them good and just release them in future seasons. So I would pretty much expect in some future season or expansion for runes and runewords to be added into Diablo 4, and it sounds like they are trying to make them a more Diablo 2-esque version. And another interesting Q&A question was they were asked about learning more about endgame itemization and endgame progression systems, and they mentioned that they didn't want to answer questions in this Q&A on that because after the beta and open betas that are going to be held this month, they are planning on having another developer live stream that is completely focused on itemization, endgame, and endgame progression systems because it's a very complex and large part of the game. So they want to give it a lot more time to more thoroughly explain a lot of these systems. And I am pretty excited about that because itemization is still one of those things about Diablo 4 that we have a decent bit of information on, but we don't have the full picture. And I'm sure there's probably going to be some slight tweaks and changes from the actual information that we do have. But that's pretty much all I want to go over for this live stream. Like I mentioned, just wanted to do an overview. And like I also mentioned, I'm going to be doing a video going over all the information they revealed about that armor stat because it is pretty complex. But that's all I want to go over. So subscribe if you want to see more Diablo 4 or other videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Comment down below what you guys think about all this new Diablo 4 information. And thanks for watching.